So here are just some ideas I have just to make phones more from a hardware perspective, but also software perspective, better for people that are disabled. One thing I want to point out is that phones should be made to just be more durable in general, because again, disabled people are more likely to spill stuff, almost like drop it or bang it up in any other ways or have motor difficulties that cause it. And if they cause damage, and if they damage it, they may have more of a difficulty repairing it from affordability standpoint, time standpoint, resources, but also a phone can be a lot more important to them for basic navigation, communication, financing, and all these other, and social life, and all these other things, including self-regulation. Another thing that can be done is that multiple sized phones options more within the same brand or family, because sometimes bigger phones might be preferable for disabled people, with the screen size and stuff be making typing and singing easier. And also if you have motor difficulties with moving around, the smaller one can be less intense on the eyes, it might be more portable or be lighter weight. So both bigger and smaller have advantages. Besides that, you might want to also think about mobile sizes in different ways. You have 3 dimensions, so could you have mobile sizes? Some people might want it for certain different types of hands, for it to be longer or skinnier. Things like that, or they might maybe want a stressed out phone more because it's easy for them just to block off sections compared to a square phone where it's harder. A square might have its own thing that it can fit more stuff in less space. Another one is having phones with pieces that can be interchanged more often for upgrades and stuff when they can't afford a full upgrade, but they want to keep their phone up to date. This could be hugely beneficial for also just lowering waste in general society. And it could also be useful for, again, the problem of people with disabled people more likely to break phones, or at least parts of it, or use them more intensely. Another option along these lines that I want to talk about is to have what I'm going to call multi-phone ability, where you can have 2 phones that act basically like the same phone. There's a little bit of cross-compatibility devices like Mac to iPhone or something, but I'm talking about more widely in case one of the phones breaks, or for people to lose stuff often, like in the house, or to leave one in different locations around the house. Stuff like that for communication. And oftentimes people do lose stuff and have a hard time finding it, and that can be tens of minutes of searching when they could just have a spare backup one immediately. There are challenges with this, though, with security being one of the primary concerns. Another one is to make displays that do not bother people's eyes as much. Now, one of these technologies I pointed out here is e-ink, which uses simply black and white ink in a little capsule, and that little capsule then can do some pretty interesting stuff in that the black ink could be on top and the white ink on the bottom. When you put electric current, the black ink might go to the bottom and the white ink to the top, or vice versa. Now this is a lot less bright than and bright and focused than a traditional display, so and it uses less power, so you can save the battery life, which is always good. And that less harshness is also easier on people's eyes often and can work in dimmer settings. Now, you can modify this bit with colors inks, with having different colored filters on top, like you have in cameras, or having different colored inks in here. There's also smarter ones with mirrors and stuff, or change the shape of different materials that refract light differently or bend light differently to make different colors. Which also are not all e-ink technology. Some of them are just more like moving little mirrors to reflect selectively certain lights and stuff like that on nanoscales. Then you can also have lights that shine on top of it to shine stuff. The disadvantage of this the technology is it's a lot less fast in its refresh rate. Because it's a lot less fast in its refresh rate, you can't download usually games, but you also haven't put in as much effort into it. It also doesn't shine light itself, so it doesn't work in complete dark. But it's possible to actually combine this technology with ones that do have lights and shine. And then you might be able to get around both. This will be more fancy and complex, but I think it's doable for the future for us to look into and design, especially these longer phone life. Another idea is to actually make a foldable phone. And what this foldable phone would do is it would allow people to have a bigger phone in less space. And if it folds in and out in different shapes, you can make the screen bigger and smaller depending on the disabled person's immediate need. Some companies are already looking into making this for certain and just putting this out there as something that might help in the future and will appeal to look into building in various ways. Another one would be making more phones that are customizable and how they're exactly manufactured. And the huge advantage of this is if you have a customizable manufacturing system, you can make it so that people that are more worried about internet speeds have better internet speeds, people that are more worried about voice have more voice, people that are more worried about battery life have better batteries. With different people with different disabled needs have different needs, and of course, and it can go a long way. You can figure out what you want to sacrifice, because almost all designs you have to sacrifice something. Sometimes it might be weight or size, so then you have to look, I can't have all these fancy features. What am I most willing to sacrifice? Now, this hurts mass manufacturing, which can drive up price. With robots and stuff that start to manufacture stuff better and better, you might be able to decrease that problem and just have a robot build you one specifically, then ship it to you. Or with better interchangeable device systems that I've talked about before. Another system that would be nice is to have a voice to text and vice versa, because some people have trouble analyzing auditory noises, or they just don't want to play the noises or hate headphones, and vice versa where text turns to voice for people with reading difficulties. And the voice to text, I mean also like the sound out of the phone turns into text instead. A better dark mode would be very useful. I know that's included, but I'm just saying a better one. Better tactile feedback will also be a very useful additional feature. And by that I mean like buzzing and stuff like that, and so the ringer doesn't go off at random times. Maybe you can have it buzz in different locations or different ways. Also, tactile feedback is not only the buzzing, but it could also be the screen changes texture or something slightly, how raises bumps or stuff. Better sound control. Oftentimes, my phone makes weird typing noises and I don't know why. And just to make it easy to access so it doesn't always make weird typing noises, or so you can have different sound settings for different apps, more without having to switch between it and adjust it between going from one app to another app, just already there, pre-saved and easy to use. And might even ask you text control, so you can, so instead of like asking Siri, you can just text in stuff more to like control it. Between text control with settings like, hey computer, I want sound for this specific app to be lower, and it uses an AI to figure out what you're asking it. Another one would be to have more widespread charger compatibility, to make it more easy for people to interchange charger when people break stuff, and so that chargers are more cheap and more affordable. A faster charging option, so maybe a cable that isn't as good at carrying information, but is more durable and better at carrying electricity, could really help with this. And there's other ways to fast charge a phone, with like maybe it has a cooling device so it can cool, and then charge the battery faster, which produces extra heat, which means you need to extra cool it down. And also health monitoring features better on your phone would be a nice addition. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. It really helps stand out. Turning 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard, but with your help, I think can do it. Also, if any of these are future videos, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comment section below. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.